Today I'd like to introduce you to the second one of my PTZ controllers. This is called the ATEM2PTZ controller. What this does is gives you the ability to use an ATEM and its built-in PTZ protocol, so you can control camera heads, etc., using just a controller, a PTZ controller, $60 or whatever, and then just this little box here. And what this little box here does is it gives you the ability to connect to your ATEM using the Ethernet connector. You can power it off the USB, or you can power it off a just a standard power connector here. It's got no other controls on it other than a connector for connecting the PTZ controller, which is what I'm using here. Here's your PTZ controller. It's connecting to the ATEM via the Ethernet and the RS485 connector on the end, which you can see here. And it just has no controls. It just has one LED on the front, and the setups and all that are all done using a telnet connection using the USB connector. So if you have a look down on the side here, you can see I'm connected through here USB. But once it's set up, you don't need to be connected to that again, other than if you need it for power. And with the telnet connection, we have the ability to be able to enter a configuration manager. You can reboot it and check the status. So if I just press S for status, you can see it shows you all the settings here. You can see I've got the local box's IP address. I've got the IP address of where the ATEM is, and this can also give you the ability to control an aux bus. So as you're doing your panning and tilting using your joystick, you can have it also automatically select the required source on the aux bus, so you can view it as you're doing the adjustments. So basically, as I say, it's just you just go and buy these $60 PTZ controllers. There's quite a few different versions of these. This one here is running, I'm just running Pelco protocol at the moment at 9600 baud, and you can change the camera settings. Whatever camera, you can control every camera that's on the ATEM. And if you just want to change the camera, if I want to go to camera 4, I'll just go 4 camera, and now you can see it's whatever adjustments I do will be on camera 4. The at the moment I've just got I'm looking at aux 1, which is what I've got this thing programmed to. So as I select camera 4, I can then select it on the aux bus, and then I can go back to camera 5. I go 5 camera, and then there's camera 5. And then I've got all the normal, oh, there it goes, it's panning off. I try to pan with it. So there's the panning and tilting, and you have there's tilting up, tilting down. You have the ability to do multiple, sort of two separate speeds, slow and fast speeds. You can, there's a zoom, so I can do, using these buttons here, I can do zoom, tele or wide, focus near and far, and I can also control the iris, close and open, all on this unit here. And of course you can also do it on the ATEM CCU, but the ATEM CCU on the software control panel doesn't give you the ability to do any PTZ, or PT at least. Whereas with this unit here, plugged into this little box here, then plugged into the ATEM, we can have full pan and tilt control, as well as zoom, iris and focus, and you can control all 20 cameras just using this one controller. One box can do all 20 cameras, if of course you've got all the ancillary equipment. As you can see, I have here is a pan and tilt head, and this is actually running the PTZ stuff down the return feed to the camera, which is a Micro Studio Camera, but you can run that to any Blackmagic camera. And then I'm just using a one of these controllers here, which is I've showed you in a previous video, that does the conversion from the Visca that comes out of the side of the camera to the discrete commands for the pan and tilt head. Plus it can also send other commands to the camera head and all that. But as I said, I've done that in a separate video with using the controller on its own, as well as running it through a CCU controller, one of my CCU controllers. So so basically, if you can see up on that video, up on that monitor up there, I'm just going to check my camera. Camera 4, let's go over to that camera there, and you can probably see me. You can see, you probably can't see, but it's actually panning around at the moment. It's tilted down, tilted up. Oh, there you go, switch camera. The switch to this camera. Let's go camera 5, and if I go to here, you can see the same thing's going to be happening here. This is a different camera now. I'm doing a panning and tilting on this camera, and just pan back the other way. So if I had all this mix has only got 16 inputs, but if I had all 16 cameras on this, all with this combinations of pan tilt head controllers, I could control all 16 cameras all off this one controller and interface box. The setup, it can be done just on the, as I mentioned before, on the USB control. I just type in capital C, and now you can see I'm in focus. These are the different, so you can set the local IP address, the ATEM IP address. You can just come out of there. So you've got the local IP address, so you can set that to whatever you need it, your local controller to be. These are the different protocols. I'm running Pelco P at the moment. There's the different baud rates. I'm running at 19.2, but you just set all these up as needed. Now this is where you can select the aux bus. I've got it set to control aux bus number 1, and this knows that it's got 6 aux buses it can choose from, so it automatically sets the limit. And then you can also do, there's a LED on the front here. You can adjust the brightness if it's too bright, you're in a dark room and you don't want it killing your eyeballs. Basically that's what it's all about. In the next video I'm going to be doing I'll be showing the new item, which will be very similar to this, but it's actually for the camera end, and it extracts the PTZ data out of the return feed. So you can then, if you're using a camera that's not a Micro Studio camera, you can also control all the pan and tilt head stuff. The reason is that I'm doing it with this is because this camera's got the Visca commands built into an output which is plugged into the box. But if you're using a camera that doesn't have the Visca commands, you use my ATEM2PTZ controller, and you'll see that in the next video. So I hope that kind of explained what all that does, but if it didn't, just go on to bazcontrollers.com and have a look at the ATEM2PTZ controller, and you'll get a bit of an idea what it's all about.